You're listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more.
Wepa, what up, mi gente? It's your boy Al Mega. Welcome to a brand new Comic Crusaders podcast. Today we have a wonderful guest. He's a manga creator over here. He has a dope team that we're gonna learn about how he got hooked up with him. I mean, he's a writer, creator. The book is from Dark Horse called ONI RONIN. Let me introduce this amazing creator with a fire story. We're about to get into it. The one, the only Mr. Mack Flavelle. Please tell me I got the last name right.
You did. You got it exactly right, actually. That's very good.
Yeah, there we go. Well,
I'll tell you how I made this easy for you. My government name, my birth certificate name is Donald Dundas McElroy Flavelle. And I don't normally tell people that because I think it's a weird ass name. Also, I don't think you're supposed to tell the whole internet your name all the time. But somebody once said to me, that is the most Harry Potter name I ever heard outside of Hogwarts. And I don't do that with, like Mac. I can say Mack Flavelle. Like I figured that one out. I didn't drop the whole Harry Potter, thing down. So we're working together for that.
Well, you know what, though? You're still dropping some magic, though, because that's what this book is. So you definitely conjured up some wizardry, if you will.
Yeah.
All right. If you see that happen, don't you worry. I ain't going nowhere. I'm here. I like to shit on Spectrum. This is their fault. They caused that.
Okay.
It's a blip. But I ain't going anywhere. Thanos ain't affecting me. He's trying. That's him trying every fucking snap that he can, but he can't get rid of Mega. All right.
It's not inevitable. Mega is more than inevitable.
So with that, Matt, tell us a bit about yourself, man. Where you OG from?
I'm from Canada.
North, huh?
I'm from the wild white north where we drink moose blood in the winter to stay warm.
Oh, damn. You're bathing it too, bro.
Yeah, I grew up in Canada and now I live outside of Vancouver, Canada in a swamp. I live on 3 acres of swamp out in the weird suburbs, and I don't have time for too much except the wife and the children and the nerdery. And for me, the nerdery includes comics. It always has. I've been that way for a long time.
Well, let me ask you though. You say you've been away for a long time. I always love to ask this question because everybody's so different. What was the first thing that you ever fell in love with that you knew this is my shit?
Sleepwalker.
Sleepwalker.
Nobody remembers Sleepwalker. Sleepwalker was a Marvel comic.
Of course, the green guy. Yeah.
The blue guy. Oh, shit. You know what?
I know what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about. It was the era of there you go. Yep. That was the era that had him, Terra Inc., New Warriors.
Yeah. Okay, what was his name? It was like Marvel Cyborg, Doom, him, Darkhawk, Sleepwalker, and somebody else. They tried to bring up this new crew or something, and I don't think any of that really worked. Deathlock, that was the black cyborg guy.
Yeah, Deathlock was old school, but they really tried to bring him back.
Right? He was Deathlock, 70s style.
Yeah, Deathlock is used a lot. Believe it or not, they started reusing Darkhawk not too long ago, and Sleepwalker makes his appearances here and there, but it's nothing stable. Yeah. Nothing stable
though. I remember the comic store in the town I grew up was called Comics Unlimited, and I would get my parents to take it down there, whatever, to go with my friends. And the thing that I remember is buying the damn cards even more than the comics. The Marvel cards, the series 1, the series. I didn't have series 1, but I had series 2 and series 3, and then they get fancy with the
gold. I know what you're talking about. Listen, I have a box under my desk right now that I have to sort all types of fucking cards. Tons of those Marvels.
One of the few sets I collected was they did a small one about Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, and it was his cards. That shit was cool, man.
Yeah, I got that one. I got the Todd McFarlane Spidey. I got the Mark Teixeira Ghost Rider one. And the Mark Teixeira Wolverine.
Okay, I do better than most because I got the whole Spider-Man and everything, but I'm not going to step up. You got more than I got.
I was addicted to that. Was a '90s thing for sure.
Worked on me.
Yeah, it still works on me when I see those things. I'm like, fuck, I want these. Hold on, let me get a binder again. Look like an old man. And look at this, how we used to look at this cool stuff in the '90s. So,
dude, my nephew collects soccer cards now, like real life ones. But him and his friend own a binder together. And every time they see each other, they bring it and they trade. And I freaked out. I was like, but who owns it? And like, who buys more? It was so interesting to me that none of those things to bother him. He's like, no, we just own it together. Like, we're friends. Why is it so hard for you to understand? I was like, oh.
Nah, bro, it was gangster back in the day. You would have to beat the shit out of somebody sometime on a bad trade. Are you trying to jerk me? Folks, '90s was tough for card slinging, for real.
1989 in Abbotsford at the comic shop. Hard times, let me tell you.
Oh, shit, too funny. So, were you alone in that fandom, or, for a while, or did you find kind of a clique of fellow geeks to roll with?
I had two nerds. I had a small group of friends, and two of them, we got together and we drew. We were those kids that, like, before you were a stupid teenager who figured out that you like drinking for fun and you got together with your friends, we would draw comics. I mean, I remember
creative. Oh shit.
Exactly. We 100%. And man, I have this other significant moment. My best friend when I was a kid, like since I was 2, and I saw him this summer. I'm 42 years old. He flew out to visit me from Montreal this summer. Like, we are still good friends. He tattooed me and shit, but when we were kids, we'd spend all our time together and do these creative things and play a lot of video games. And the two things that stick out for me was, one, we made our own Mario Kart levels. That was like, we started drawing our own Mario. This is Super Nintendo era. You're not making your own levels, but we would draw on paper our own levels.
Hey.
That and trying to design Street Fighter 3. We were all so sick of Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Turbo Champion Super Edition. And so we would design Street Fighter 3 characters. And while we were doing that, my friend, who's now a professional artist, like he makes video game art for a living, he had said to me, your drawings suck. You got to draw these muscles. I think they're called lats, the things that go from here to here. So you got to make big lats. That's how you make superheroes. And I taught that to my kid 2 weeks ago. And I had the weirdest moment of being like, oh my God, I've been doing this since I was 6.
Yeah, what's up, Valdez? What's popping? Thanks for tuning in. Real.
Hello, Valdez.
Yeah, man. So when you were thinking about the lats, I'm pretty sure you could have just thought about Goldberg. That motherfucker looked like a cartoon character back in the day.
It's true.
Right? Shit. So, all right. So you would draw, you say, with your friends. When was the point in time then in your youth, was it that you got serious about it, or was it something you forgot about? Like, what happened? What was that journey like when you decided to get creative and jump back in?
Okay, so I have always wanted to make comics. Always. I did not, I went to a grade 12 writing school where I went to a lot of different high schools. I wasn't that good at being consistent about it. And I ended up in a school specifically for writing, or an art school, and you could choose your major. And I chose writing because it's the only thing I liked more. I always liked that shit so much. I always like telling stories, all those things. I'm not alone in this. So many people share this world. And God, okay, here's the true version of the story. I wasn't sure I was going to tell you the true version. I used to do something dirty on the internet. It wasn't porn, and it wasn't gambling. It was NFTs. Hey.
Oh my gosh. You know what? Yes. I heard about that, and wow, has that market changed recently?
You know what? The economics of that market have changed dramatically. They've changed before, and they may change again. It's a changey thing. But here's what happened. We decided to make an NFT project about demon samurai. That was this thing in my head. I am a little bit intrigued by Japanese culture, and I was like, oh my God, this would be so cool. And this world started to come together in my head. And then I went and contacted my old neighbor who I'd known for 15 years. He used to live beside us. He had no possessions except his computer and his tomato plants. He was the most monk-like person I've ever met. It was wild. He drove a flat-back 1970s Dodger, had tomato plants, and a computer to make incredible art with.
Were the tomatoes any good though?
You know what? I still have one. I still have one of his plants. We moved away. We all left that building that we lived in together for 15 years, and I still got his plant. And yes, the tomato's delicious. So we're like, okay, we're gonna make these Demon Samurai NFT. That's cool. And then we did that. And then you make these NFTs, and people say that they care about the utility. They're like, oh, what is the utility of this NFT? And you're like, well, that depends on what you mean. But we're like, let's do something really cool. Yeah. First of all, let's acknowledge that we are pasty pale motherfuckers, and us sailing around the world being like, oh, we're going to do things with Japanese history. Like, we should tread carefully here. You know, there are other people who could tell this story that maybe are better deserving to tell the story. So let's tread carefully. But then we're like, what we love here is the Japanese history. That's so incredible. And so when we made this NFT project, we said, if you own one of these NFTs, you can come to any of our classes. We made flower arranging classes. We made daily meditation. We had Japanese history classes from a Cornell University professor who came and offered his courses. If you own one of our NFTs, 8 fucking parts over 8 weeks. We had like 3-month haiku lesson with a like world's massive haiku expert. And so we were like, you know, like we think this piece is so interesting. So let's dig into this and let's do that intelligently and respectfully. And so we fucking did. And then along the way, the NFT community was like, what else are you going to do? You know, we want more. This is really cool, but don't stop. Yeah. And so we're like, well, what if we made a comic? And it was like, yeah, that'd be fucking incredible. You should totally make a comic. So now here's the interesting thing. At the time, I had an agent. You know, like you hear about Hollywood agents? I had an agent. Okay. Because NFTs were quite a thing, and I was pretty good at NFTs, to be honest. And so the agents wanted to sign me, and so they did. And then they were like, "Who do you want to talk to?" You know, like we can get to anybody. You can work with anybody. Oh my god, we're the agent, so let's do crazy shit for you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I gave them 2 names in particular. One was Ken Nordine, and nobody knows who Ken Nordine is. And Ken Nordine is dead. But I talked to Ken Nordine's son, who's also 7 years old. I would call Ken Nordine one of the like 3 great creative minds of the last 100 years. And he made word poetry, word jazz. He made word jazz. His most famous album is called Colors. It's 36 songs, every song, or like 23 songs or something. Every song is about a different color. It's beautiful, strange, weird. But the other person I called, besides Ken Nordine, was a guy named, I said, I would like to talk to a guy named Stan Sakai. And they were like, why would you want to do that? And I was like, well, have you heard of Usagi Yojimbo? Like, this is sort of one of the great achievements of modern writing. This is unbelievable. And they're like, okay. So we called Stan Sakai team, and we told them about Oni Ronin, and they got excited. They were just starting a little imprint. And so they made, where do I have it? They made the original. Ooh, can I get this on here? There it is. Oh, you can't really see it. But there is the original Oni Ronin comic published by Dogu Press. Really? And then and I got to meet Stan. I got to go to Comic-Con and sit at a booth and sign copies of that sitting beside Stan. I was like, one of these things.
How was that experience like to meet such a legendary, a master in the game, man?
You know, they say don't meet your heroes.
Yeah.
I generally agree with that. Unless your hero is Stan Sakai, and then you should totally fucking meet your hero because he's awesome. He's super cool. He's like, I don't know, man. He's amazing. I went and did a panel at Comic-Con this year with him, and it was fucking cool because I got to take my kids with me down to San Diego. I'd been to Comic-Con the year before, and I'd come back and I'd been like, you know, it was amazing, it was incredible. The only thing I did wrong was not bring you guys because it was nutty. It'll blow your mind. So next year, we went down there. We stayed in a shitty motel on the outskirts of San Diego. We had some like adventures and these kinds of things, but I was on a panel with Stan, and I'll be honest, there was like 200-300 people in the room, and every single one of them was there for Stan, not me. That was literally, it was undoubtedly, and it still fucking ruled. I got to say one thing, but I got to be on a panel with Stan with my kids who don't understand why that's so cool. With my kids who were there, and it was fucking awesome. You know what else we did at that Comic-Con? Mm-hmm. Again, they won't understand, but we went and had lunch with Jim Lee because I happen to know Jim Lee. And so we went and had sushi lunch with Jim Lee. And they had a great time, and they argued about Batman and all this shit. And I'm like, someday you may appreciate the interesting things your dad does for you. But today you're just like, oh man, I wish the sushi was better.
Yeah, when they're older, yeah. I scared Jim Lee at New York Comic Con. We were in an after party, and I spotted that he was in the room. Nobody was talking to him. I never met him before, but he was wearing an LA Dodgers hat. I was like, what? All right. So I said, so my boy, what's this? I just stepped up to Jim Lee, and I like sidestepped him. I was like, yo, dude, you're wearing the wrong hat in my city. And he's like, excuse me? I was like, I'm just playing, bro. I'm a big fan. He started laughing. Oh, shit, that's funny. No one ever said that. Then we were chit-chatting. He was really cool about it. Took a picture with me and everything. Really cool dude, man. Great energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Strong agree.
So,
God, I tell the long version of these stories.
you're a storyteller. So this is what you do.
So there had been this time where I had been working at this company, and I made a friend named Manabu, and he was this like older than me Japanese guy, and he would come. He was making video games, and we were sort of working on video games. So we started talking, and we decided we got along, and so we would go get drunk downtown, and then go back to my office and work on Harry Potter Lego. We had the castle. We had Hogwarts because my boss Sam loved that shit. We had all the crazy Lego.
So did they call you by your first name? Is that why they were inspired?
But we'll go back to the office, and I'm like big and clumsy to start with, and I was drunk, and I wasn't that good at the Lego, but the company was amazing, right? We'd have these amazing nights. And Manabu was like, he gave me my Japanese drunk name, Detake, I believe, which means big hands.
Oh, yeah. What? Hilarious.
But we just became good friends through that. And so later on, when we were doing this Oni Ronin project, and I was like, fuck, we should make a comic. I called Manabu, who was back in Japan. He lived in LA at the time. We were in Vancouver, but he was back in Japan. And I called him, and I'm like, hey, man, I'd really like to tell a story about Oni Ronin. And we brought Manabu in from the beginning of the project. From the beginning, we're like, again, like, shitty white people should not just go do like idiotically stomping on other cultures without treading thoughtfully. So like, Manabu, can we bring you on as like a cultural consultant? Can you tell us to not say some really stupid shit that I would otherwise say in public, or like just help us be good about this, you know? And so he did. And then I called him. I'm like, hey man, thank you for the help with the project. We want to go to the next level. We want to make a fucking comic. But here's the thing. We don't think we should write the comic in details. We think that if you're going to tell a historically accurate story about Japanese history, then Japanese people should tell that story. If I had a deep expertise, right? If I had a profound expertise, I'd be like, no, I'm qualified to write this story. But I don't. I'm not a profound expert on this. And so we're like, Manabu, can you help us find the team to write this comic? Because we're going to fucking write it in Japanese, and we're going to draw it in Japan, and then we will translate it back to English and publish it. And then we did some authentic shit. And so that's actually what we did. I have the Japanese in first. And if you want to know the process, don't do what I did. It was a terrible fucking idea. I understand.
We have Scott asking you a question before we go on, because I'm going to show it off. And yeah, you're going to be able to get this. Because where can I find this book in Forbidden Planet, NYC? You can put it up for pre-order right now from Dark Horse. And I'll show you that in a little bit, guys. I'm going to give you a teaser of the beauty of this book. Don't you worry.
Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did, because it just created so much more chaos and confusion. But the process was really fun and cool. I developed the rules of the Oniverse. What is true? What is not true? What can happen? What cannot happen? And then we called the team and we're like, hey, here's the constructs. Can you breathe life into this? And, you know, they came along and they killed it. Kohei was amazing. We loved Tatsubi's art. I've never met them, but we did this really interesting thing with Manabu as the sort of bridge of cultures, and we created this beautiful work as sort of a result of it, and it fucking rules.
So let me ask, since you have placed him kind of to help you, right, find these people, what was that process like overall for you? I mean, what was it difficult? Again, you know, language barrier, and, you know, were you looking for something in particular to stand out, or did he know exactly where to point you?
No, he didn't know exactly where to point us, and it took months to find. He had never done this before. I didn't call him because he's a comic expert. I called him because he's my homeboy Manabu, you know?
Everybody's learning how to navigate comic scene. All right, but
dude, quick side note. For our 1 year, I think it's for the 1 year anniversary of Oni Ronin, because like I said, we like to do this shit that is like authentic. We were like, hey, anybody who owns one of these NFTs, you can submit your favorite expression, and we will get that calligraphy in old style Japanese by Manabu's mother. Manabu's mother, oh my God. Okay. If you look at the NFTs, dude.
Yeah.
Lots of NFTs are like shitty pictures of animals meant to steal money from people. That is the design of lots of those things. Yeah. That is not what we were doing. We went, and in the name of this historical accuracy, we learned about these, what are they called? Jisei? And they are samurai death poems. And part of living well as a samurai was, in theory, dying well. And in order to die well, a thing that you might do is write your jisei. And this is your like big insight. This is it. This is your one death poem. And some people would write them 20 years before they died. They like figured it out and they just stuck with that. Some people rewrote theirs on their last day. But either way, there was this like living, it wasn't a will, but this like sort of this legacy, which was your haiku. So we went through history and we found, I think 22 of those real death haiku. And then we hired a Japanese voice actor to read them in Japanese. When you look at the NFT, you can hit play and dude, it's the most, you know that like baritone Japanese thing?
Yeah.
Desuma.
Like that Samurai Jack crazy shit.
And we got that shit in there. And the person who wrote, and it's written in smoke in the background of the poem of every NFT, but you can listen to it. The person who wrote it was Manabu's mom. She wrote out all of the poems in calligraphy style for us. And then 1 year later, we gave everybody a poster of calligraphy style, whatever they want. We were like, submit whatever text you want. We will get it made by this like classic writing style, turn it into an NFT, give it to you. Now, why the hell was I going off about this? Oh, I think it's just that So the single biggest, most important thing was that anything that happens in our story in real life has to be historically accurate. If there's a name, if there's a place, if there's a mention of a battle, and there's all of those things, they must be real. The names of our characters are not real, but like the historical setting of the characters are real.
The setting itself is, however.
Everything is interpreted as best as we possibly could, real history. And then
you mean you're gonna make me geek out? So I'm gonna be reading a battle. Hold on, Google.
I told you, man, I did not write every word of this. I had to Google shit myself. Like this was a learning journey for me as well to go through this. And then the thing is that these are demon samurai. When the Ronin die, when the samurai die and they go into the Oni realm, then the fucking wheels come off. Then I don't care how crazy or how weird it gets. At that point, you can have like samurais riding T-Rexes if you want. But in reality, we keep it exactly historically right. And in the death, we go mad. And that main construct underlines a lot of this.
And folks, here it is, a little tease for you guys right here. Oni Ronin, this is the cover to the... I mean, and look at how homie look in the middle, son. Whereby? What? So, what was it? Did you have any say in the artistic side of it?
Oh yeah. I was telling you about the process. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. So we contacted Manabu and we're like, hey, we'd like to work with somebody. And then the first thing he did, and I believe this is how somebody else could repeat this. Like if somebody else wanted to do this, I think this step matters. But he found a comic agent. There is somebody who represents artists and represents writers. And he found one of them. And they were the person, when you're like, oh, do they know how to make comics? That was this guy. This was the guy who then had a team of writers and a team of, not even a team, but like a suite of writers and a suite of artists, and was like, oh, who do you want to work with? And so we reviewed a bunch of different stuff from different writers and artists. The writing, to be honest, not easy to evaluate. How the hell am I going to read your Japanese text? I don't speak Japanese, unfortunately. And so through that process, we found the right team. They gave us some sample work. We were like, yes, more of that, please. And then we got to the really weird, hard, fun, interactive writing part.
I mean, but look at that cover, fire, and let's get in. Just a couple of pages I'm going to show you folks, but look at that. Look at that. So even though it's manga, we're reading it normal, right? We're not with like American style, or are you making copies in traditional manga style?
I think we put in the effort to switch to American style because remember we have the in Japanese in manga style, and we actually did a bunch of Photoshop effort to invert it.
All right, well, that must have been fun.
Oh man, I'm telling you, like we did, like the translation thing, like this flip thing. There's a bunch of things that it's like, oh, there could be better ways that we could have done this, more efficient ways. And you know what? That's super fun because like I can't wait to get back on the horse. I can't wait to write the next one. You know, I've had a really privileged life in the sense that I've got to create lots of things, and that's really fun. It's incredibly fun. But I don't like pride as an emotion for the most part. Like, you know, there be demons, watch out for that shit. But this thing makes me proud. This thing, it brings something out where I'm like, look what this shit is fucking tragic.
But it could tell your passion for it. I mean, why not feel prideful? It ain't bad. It's all right. You created something, and it's a beautiful looking book. And now hearing more coming from the man himself, how it's historic. And I like history too. So shit. You're winning me over like a mother right now. I'm about to call my shop. I'm gonna have to add this to my pull.
Wow. I strongly encourage it.
And what are these guys doing here? I mean, what is just a drunken night with the boys?
Watch what's next. A great question. Watch what's next. There's the guy in charge. He's laughing. He's sipping. His wife isn't laughing.
Well, most of these Japanese joints, women always look so sad. I wonder why.
Watch. Here comes Sarobei. And then I hope we got the last scene in this preview because that all leads to something. I'm gonna have to bust out the real comic if it comes down to it.
Okay, so all right, these guys are all crying. They're going through some feelings here. And he's talking about this is my final command. Oh, snap. No horror.
And then the history. These are real people, real names, real families.
Oh, word. Check that out. I love the art. It looks so animated, if you will.
Yeah.
Well done. I want to see this as a cartoon now. Oh, man. Look at that. Everybody. Going on here? Oh, snap. Yo, that's cool, son.
And there he is. And
what the fuck? Homie holding it. Yo, but you see this, folks, right here? Homie is holding his own gut, yo. I mean, is he checking if the macaroni and cheese went down? You know?
Yeah.
Yo, and then somebody. I mean, obviously not him. Somebody chopped his head off.
Do you know about that bit of this? Oh, there it is.
Oh, get the fuck out of here!
One person escapes. One person escapes because he is a coward. And this is the beginning of our story.
Oh, so you know what? Let me show it off right now because we're talking about this.
Yeah.
This is cowardly Sarobei. Yo, gotcha. So he was supposed to have taken the shot with everybody else, but he was a punk and didn't. And on top of that, it looks like. But I mean, if he was a coward to not drink it, I don't think he'd chop off. I think we have a mystery here.
He was given the paper, so they knew they wanted him to survive, but they chose the runner to survive. There's always a runner.
Interesting. Check that out.
I love this website so much. Of all the websites I've seen lately, just for like, it's a one-page scrollable. This is not some fancy whatever, but it's just beautiful.
And there we go. You can follow Sarobei on his journey right here. He learns about bravery, sacrifice, and redemption, and finds himself along the way. Ooh. Oh, yo, I need this in a t-shirt like right now.
We should make ONI RONIN t-shirts.
Yo, this right here, that's a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Crazy. Look at that. I mean, with the lettering, without the lettering. I mean, we just put the lettering, put the homie like over here somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo.
You know what? I will make t-shirts after this. I'm gonna get a t-shirt made, and I'll send you one.
Oh man, thank you, brother. I mean, look at this. How could you not? that needs to be a T. There we go. So all right. So talk about then. All right. So you got to meet Stan, and I know for a fact Stan been working with Dark Horse for a long time. That's what we've seen a lot of Usagi lately. So how did you guys get him? Was it through Stan or what?
So Stan created his own imprint called Dogu, and Dogu is now the home of Usagi, and Dogu could find other people to work with, and I'm their first version of that. So they published our shit, and then they, in their brilliance, went to Dark Horse and got us the deal. And they're making their own arrangements about Usagi, but I hitched my carriage to the right horse, and I had the privilege of following the trails that they're blazing.
I mean, shit, to be in that camp with Stan and have this type of storytelling, holy snap. Yeah, I mean, and folks, for you guys that are in fact interested, that were asking about the date, the drop date will be, you guys got to wait. It's November 29th. All right. So, yeah, you could put those pre-orders in at your local shop. Tell them to add this to your pull list immediately. You need this in your life. All right.
I think you might.
Yeah, it's 120 pages, folks. And we just gave you just a small taste of a wonderful, engaging story by a dope team. And again, under the banner with the Sakai, a legend, Japanese history. You're gonna, this is gonna be the longest read of your life. I'm probably sure they're gonna put it down so many times. Like, wait a minute, is that real?
You gotta check. You gotta check.
Yep. I mean, but this guy's not real. He's part of it. Just the surroundings are, but the cowardice. They probably won one. There was one probably, but
yeah. But we made this one up.
All right, bet. Ooh, this is dope. I'm digging it. But I mean, I love this. Look at that, yo.
You know why I love Stan so much as a kid? I was a weird kid, and so I'm going to tell you my two favorite IP stories of all time. I believe they're both true. The first is about Sir Alex McGuinness. Is that his name? Alex Guinness. Sir Alex Guinness.
Yes. Okay.
The guy who played Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
That guy made more money off of Star Wars than anybody but George Lucas, apparently. And the way that he did that is because in the 70s, when nobody had ever made a movie toy, he said, I want my likeness rights. So every toy that got sold of Obi-Wan, he got a penny. And he was the only person who ever did that. And that didn't make any sense. Like, nobody had ever made movie toys before Star Wars. And so you being like, no, I'll take a smaller salary and give me whatever the number was on a cut of every toy was fucking genius. And that guy retired rich because he did the toy thing. So I heard that story.
People are just forward thinkers, but it's like Jackie Chan. Once he came to the American market, he goes, I'll take a smaller cut, but I want a piece of the box office. And what? He smashed it when he came here back in the day,
I used to go to Taiwan as a kid, and so I would see Chinese movies, and I would see Jackie Chan movies before anybody here.
I know. I worked with a Chinese boss at the time, and then I was showing me, I'm going to go check this out. He goes, I saw that shit last year. I'm like, what do you mean you saw it last year? He goes, in my country.
Dude, the first one, Rumble in the Bronx, the first one for the Western market, and we lost our minds. It was like, who is this madman, and how and what is he doing?
I mean, he's way older than that. Kung Fu Theater, man. I grew up on him then, Drunken Master.
Here's the thing. The other great story of, and like, we don't need to get into all of it, but that blockchain NFT thing, there's some really big ideas around owning shit. That is an underlying concept there. And like, we don't need to get into arguing about whether it's matters.
No, there's no argument. I do believe that. I do believe that there is a greater good for the blockchain. But again, what are good ethics, behind them, and and something secure so people are not losing their ass. Again, NFTs lost 95% of value. 95. I mean, motherfuckers took hits, son.
This is not even the first time. Probably not the last time. But here's the thing. Alex Guinness understood, if that's his name, Obi-Wan understood ownership. And the other fucking person that was a story that like locked in my head as a child was Stan. Because I fucking love Ninja Turtles. I really, really love Ninja Turtles. And I had lots of the toys, not as much as my rich friend who had all the toys, but was deep in that world. And in that world, Usagi was this fucking incredible character. I always loved Usagi. And only later did I learn that he was not a turtle. He was not a mutant like the rest of them. Like, this was something else. And I eventually learned that Stan just knew Eastman and Laird, and they liked him, and he had always insisted on keeping the rights to his character. And so he got it put in Ninja Turtles, and then he got this toy on the shelves of Walmart without ever selling shit, while in complete control of his stuff. And I swear I was like 14 when I heard that story, but I never lost it. That fucking stuck with me. And so that's why literally 20 years later, 25 years later, when the agents were like, who do you want to talk to? I wasn't like, Sam Keith is an amazing artist I love. I could have said Sam Keith. I love the Max. That would have been crazy, right? But this one guy always stood out in my mind as like, not just a brilliant storyteller, incredible artist, but operating on a different level.
Yeah, a pioneer as an independent creator, of creator rights and creator ownership. So that's good on him. It's, again, that's always been the fight, hasn't it?
It has, and that guy. I just read a book called "Life and Death Are Wearing Me Out," and it's this amazing, hilarious book about China in loosely the second half of the 20th century. And it's the story of this guy who starts out as a rich land-owning farmer, then he keeps getting reincarnated as like a pig and a dog and a monkey and all these things. And it's so I find the last 50 years or maybe the last 7 years of 20th century China to be fucking incredible. Historically, there's like, it's so big and interesting and strange. But in the story, there is the farmer, the one independent farmer who never quits, who never gives up to the communist regime. He's got a shitty little piece of land. Everybody hates him. They make fun of him, but he never fucking quits carving his own little piece of land. He's Stan Sakai. Stan Sakai never gave up on chopping his own land, and then made bank out of that. Like, did good, I just love it. I love the guy taking control of his own destiny and his own creative work. And what we have as a result of that is like a 40-year odyssey, a saga from one creator, always in control. I love this shit. I love it. We as readers have profited so much from that man's line in the sand.
Absolutely. I mean, I understand sometimes changing the guard of a character, but not on this level. When something is as personal as Usagi is to Stan, I mean, to have that one creator, we don't get that in the American market. That definitely mostly happens in the manga market, where a creation lives and dies with the creator. So it's great to see, from an American perspective, that this great legend is doing what he's doing.
Yeah, and like, to be clear, I want all my favorite writers to take a crack at Batman, or I want them to take a crack at an obscure Marvel character from the 70s, Deathlock, that they just keep bringing back. Like, I love that too, right? But that's not what Usagi Yojimbo is. This is clearly a one-man story. I don't even mind other writers want to take a crack at Usagi. Like, maybe Stan hires somebody to do a cool, like, alt tale or side story or something. That's all fun and cool. But the canon of Usagi, as prescribed in the mind of Stan. And I'll be honest, when my kids first started with fan fiction, it drove me fucking nuts. I'd be like, Hermione did not fucking kiss Harry. That didn't happen. J.K. Rowling didn't say so. It's not true. And my kid be like, but it's fun. And that just ended me. I was like, no, it's not in canon. It's not real. George Lucas didn't say
I'm writing it. It's done.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, though it's very hard for me, I grew to appreciate this modern approach to fiction. These like that fan fiction category, which is tens of millions of creators, is really neat, and I appreciate it. It's different than Stan being Stan about Stan shit forever, and I like living in a world where both of the things are possible. I want to read your like weird Star Wars soft porn fan fiction, but I also want the master of narrative to start at the beginning and get to the end and drag me along through every thread.
Well, agreed. So what's the plan for the ONI RONIN? See, this is a trade paperback. I mean, what's the plan? Is this going to be a franchise thing? How many volumes we get? What's the deal here? What's the plan, Mac?
The plan grows and changes constantly. The plan currently, so there's a thing that I am deeply compelled by, which is Roblox. Roblox is a game that kids play.
Yeah, I know my daughter has been playing that since she was a young buck, and then when they tried to destroy the game, she was devastated. And I know there's this whole thing, and then it came back, and then there she goes, and she's met so many friends through that community, and there's toys, there's everything. I know, bro. Roblox is. I've been on that journey too. I can't play it for shit, but I've been.
Yeah, me either. I'm terrible, but I think a lot of people, especially if you don't have young kids, don't understand the scale of Roblox and how big of a cultural phenomenon that is. I met some people recently who are 5 young guys who live together in a mansion outside of Tampa, Florida. And they live in the swamp, and they only leave their house to go to Walmart, to buy their like Doritos and Mountain Dew or whatever. And then they go back to their little swamp mansion and they make their little Roblox games. And nobody's heard of them and nobody cares. And by my count, there's about 10 million children a month who play their titles.
Holy
it's
shit!
Extraordinary. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, especially with the currency, the in-game currency, and the Robux. That's money. I mean, what? I mean, that's some serious business.
It's nutty. And here's the thing: is that Roblox has said we would like 17 plus content. Like, we understand that our demographic is aging out. You get to a certain age and there's nothing left on Roblox to entertain you. And so they're very excited about 17 plus content. So I'm really interested in Roblox games, but bringing Oni Ronin to the 6-year-olds doesn't make sense. Like, we have these badass demon NFTs, which you haven't shown, and it's reasonable. But the original art for Oni Ronin is...
Oh, they're on the website?
They would be at onironin.io.
Oni. I got you, kiddo. You got to speak up. So I asked you pregame. You got anything you want me to show? I'm gonna show it. Let's go.
So we'll show this, and then you'll see that the manga style is very different. It's manga. Okay, I scroll down here. Oh my god, I love Oni Ronin.
Ooh.
Oh, you like the clouds, right?
Yeah, man. I'm about to be in some.
Look at that guy. That is an Oni Ronin.
Shit.
Keep going, you'll find more.
Ooh, yo, bro, these are fucking t-shirts, bro.
Dude, once an Oni Ronin, check this out. Once a Ronin up there, Oni Ronin, like you saw that crazy demon thing. So when they die, oh yeah, look at these things. See the death poems I talked about in the background there? Yeah. Look at how cool those fucking Oni Ronin are. So once you die, you become Oni Ronin.
All right.
When you are Oni Ronin, which is what these demon monsters are, like you see, they can decide to escape their trials of hell by committing seppuku. They cut their stomach, like the guy on the logo that you like.
Damn, word.
And then one of two things happens. Either they find out that they are not of noble heart, and they become one of the fallen. That shadowy thing that you saw, the orange flame thing, that is a fallen Ronin. That was a corrupt Ronin.
All right.
Farther up, that one. Yeah, that guy.
I'm saying, this is crazy. I love this fucking design, yo.
But if Oni Ronin tries to escape, it can try the trial of ascension. It can cut itself. And we did this with the NFTs. 1 in 1,000, no, 1 in 100 has got a golden Ronin inside it. So scroll down even farther, you'll see the golden Ronin.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, we got kitsune. You'll learn about those in the comic.
Oh,
is that not a badass 9-tailed fox? You never seen nothing like that.
Oh.
And there's the golden Ronin. So there's 88 of those hidden inside the collection. But you have to destroy your Ronin. You have to destroy your NFT to get it. And we'll probably give you back a fallen or maybe a gold. It's really fun.
Gotcha.
And it creates for incredible like surface area for myth telling and world building and all of the fun that we love in our story adventures.
It looks like it's worth more than shit, that's for sure. Look at this. Awesome. I love this. Yeah, the designs are just, and it's the horns that get me, yo, the detail on them joints, bro.
Dude, we also, you know what we did? This is cool. So, like I said, if you do the Trial of Ascension, you might get a Golden Ronin or you might get a Fallen. And that Fallen was the cool, like, ashen design you saw. Those come in 10 colors. and there's like literally 10 different colors of them. And we said to anybody, if you collect 10 of them, you can work with the artist to make a custom Ronin. We will design one of these, especially with you. And so 8 different people did that, and there are 8 totally unique Ronin that are crazy. Like one of them was like, I have twins that I love, and I'm an American who served in Kuwait. I love my country, and I love my twins. So make me an American flag duality Ronin. And so we did that. And we did like, we've got this incredible crow face Ronin. You know what I should show you? Okay. Not many people have seen this. Let's see if I can show you this. Let's turn off the blur. Hold on. Settings. Virtual background. None. Check this out. Usagi Ojumbo. Oni Ronin.
Snap. Look at that. Yo.
Isn't that cool?
That looks sick.
Because Dogu published us, and so I was like, hey, man, like, out of profound respect for everything you guys have ever accomplished, you're publishing our comic. Can we make a rabbit? And I'll tell you something. There is a coupon, and lots of people don't care about this because they hate NFTs. There's a coupon to be the only person who ever gets that image, doesn't exist anywhere right now, hidden in one of the comics.
Oh, what?
Yeah, somebody, it's literally like written on paper, but somebody will find it, and we will give them the only copy of that image that has ever existed.
Excellent. I love the website. So, folks, right there at the bottom, you guys want to check that out too. ONIRONIN.io. I mean, homie's killing it. Not just that. I mean, this is all serious right here. You got the ONIRONINcomic.com. I mean, and then on X, you got the Oni Ronin Saga. I mean, for real, man. Oni Ronin all over the place, baby, as it should be, because it is a dope fire book. I mean, definitely plans. You got a lot of fun stuff. So, con season is closing. It's coming to a close soon. You got a couple of shows left. Are you gonna be making any appearances anywhere where we could, see some Oni Ronin, get some signatures? What's popping?
I was thinking that I should go to New York in December. That's what I got. I was at Comic-Con in July, whenever that was, and apparently Comic-Con is in December this year, and New York is a magical city.
No, but it's in October. I'm going next month.
Well, maybe I'll see you there. Maybe I'm going in October. Where was I supposed to go in December? I got to figure that out.
Well, maybe they have a big Apple Con, but that's a small thing. You see, because I got my press already ready to go.
Yeah, you know what? Reasonably good chance I will be in New York in October then.
You should go, brother. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of good things happening. And, I've gotten privy to some materials that they'll be probably showcasing over there. Can't say nothing. But, oof, my God, let me tell you, it's going to be an entertaining fall season.
I have no doubt. Yeah.
All right, brother. So again, folks, one more time, please show some love and support for the homie here at ONIRONIN.io, Oni Ronin Saga at X, and of course the website, the ONIRONINcomic.com. The book is dropping November 29th. Please visit your LCS and get that baby on your pull list. 120 pages of manga goodness, historical richness that's gonna make you Google and everything. It's gonna be, listen, it's gonna take you probably 5 days to read this because you're gonna be so going into a rabbit hole.
Learning.
Yeah, you're gonna learn science while having a good time. It's not just educational. Come on, don't make it sound like homework, Matt. It's fun too. It's violent. You got some dope stories.
He's holding his guts in his on the third page. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we want to hear. All right, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. You know what it is. Please follow everything Comic Crusaders. Visit comiccrusaders.com. We got all the links. Follow our extended family at undercovercapes.com. And all my peeps like Outside the Panel, the Film Crusade, Old Times Comic Book Show, and a whole lot more. All right. Thank you again for tuning in. Hasta la próxima, mi gente. Wepa!
Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.